Chapter 1, Something About Him. The office lights hummed overhead, sterile and unforgiving, throwing a pale wash over the glass-walled meeting room. Colby Drayke sat at the head of the long conference table, blue eyes fixed on the quarterly performance report in front of him. His jaw was tight. His pen clicked with sharp, deliberate rhythm. Across the room, Jayden Cole sat perfectly still. Shoulders squared, eyes down, posture polite, and hands folded on the table. A fresh-pressed white shirt, sleeves rolled just above his elbows. Blonde hair slightly tousled like he'd just run a hand through it. Probably had. His lips were parted slightly, maybe breathing through his mouth to keep from crying. Colby's voice cut through the silence like ice. "This is unacceptable." A beat. 2. The rest of the team shifted in their seats, uncomfortable. They all knew what was coming. Jayden blinked. "Sir, that report was approved." "I don't care," Colby snapped. "It should have been flawless." "It is," someone muttered under their breath, not that Colby cared. He stood, walking slowly, deliberately, around the table. He stopped just behind Jayden, close enough to smell the faint mix of citrus and cedarwood on his skin. Something about it made Colby's pulse stutter. He clenched his jaw tighter. Jayden turned his head just enough to glance up at him. His eyes were blue too, but not icy like Colby's. They were warm. Soft. And sad. God, they were always sad. Every time Colby barked at him, those eyes dropped to the floor like he expected it. Like he deserved it. And every time, Colby felt something burn in his chest. A mix of guilt, shame, and something far worse. Something he didn't dare name. "Fix it," Colby said tightly. "I want a revised version on my desk by noon." Jayden nodded once, slowly. "Yes, sir." Colby walked out without another word. The door swung closed behind him, but he didn't go back to his office. Instead, he leaned against the wall outside the meeting room, eyes squeezed shut, hands shaking slightly. Why the fuck did he keep doing this? Jayden hadn't done anything wrong. Again. His work was impeccable. He was respectful. Professional. He never raised his voice. Never pushed back. Just took whatever Colby threw at him like it didn't kill something inside. And yet, every time Colby saw him, something twisted in his gut. That perfect jawline, the way his shirt clung to his chest, the little indent in his cheek when he bit the inside of it to keep from crying. That goddamn smell. Colby hated him. No. He didn't hate him. He hated what he felt when Jayden walked into the room. What he wanted. What he didn't understand. And so, he punished him for it. Chapter 2, Cracks in the Mirror. Jayden Cole didn't cry. Not in front of anyone, anyway. He walked out of the meeting room with his chin lifted just high enough to fake pride, shoulders back, spine rigid. He smiled, barely, at Michelle from accounting as he passed her cubicle, even though his throat was burning and his chest felt like it was collapsing in slow motion. Inside the elevator, he let himself breathe. Shallow, quiet breaths. Controlled. The moment the doors slid shut, his fingers trembled. He pressed the back of his hand to his lips, holding everything in. He couldn't fall apart. Not here. Not yet. Downstairs in the basement garage, he collapsed into the driver's seat of his Honda and just sat. Hands gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. He stared at the concrete wall in front of him and wondered, not for the first time, what the hell he was still doing there. Colby Drayke hated him. He didn't know why. He never knew why. Every word he spoke, every report he turned in, every quiet compliment from a client, somehow, it set Colby off. Always him. No one else got chewed out like that. And Jayden took it. Every time. Because even though it wrecked him, he couldn't stop wanting to please Colby. Even when Colby didn't look at him with anything close to kindness. Even when those blue eyes sliced through him like glass. Maybe it was masochism. Maybe it was the way Colby looked when he loosened his tie after a long meeting, sleeves rolled halfway, jaw clenched, always so fucking put together. Or maybe it was just the kind of stupid, self-destructive attraction Jayden had always been good at nurturing. He rested his head against the steering wheel and exhaled. Something had to give. Upstairs, Colby stood by his office window, watching the street below like it owed him answers. His reflection ghosted in the glass, sharp cheekbones, controlled features, that goddamn tie knotted perfectly like a noose. Why did Jayden's eyes do that? Why did they haunt him? He hated the way Jayden made him feel. Weak. Exposed. Every time he looked at him, something pulled at his chest, tight and ugly. He didn't want softness. He didn't want longing. He didn't want the urge to reach out and smooth the hurt from that face after he'd been the one to put it there. He was supposed to be composed. Sharp. Professional. And yet, when he closed his eyes, he could still see the tremble in Jayden's lashes. The slow inhale he tried to hide. The silence that screamed louder than any insult. Colby wanted to bury it. To shove it deep under the surface and pretend it didn't matter. But something inside him was breaking. And he didn't know how much longer he could pretend he didn't care. Chapter 3, Close Enough to Burn. It was nearly 9 p.m. when Jayden slid his badge to re-enter the office. The floor was dark except for the overhead lights above the marketing pod and the soft hum of the vending machine near the lounge. Everyone was long gone. Everyone except Colby. Jayden didn't expect to see him still there. But when he rounded the corner toward his desk, there Colby was, suit jacket off, white shirt sleeves rolled to his elbows, dark tie loosened around his neck. He was standing at the copy machine, one hand braced on the lid, looking like he hadn't moved in hours. Hair slightly mussed, 5 o'clock shadow starting to ghost across his jaw. Jayden froze. Colby didn't look up. Didn't expect you back, Colby said without turning. Jayden swallowed, heart in his throat. I needed to finish the revisions. You wanted it by noon tomorrow. Colby let the silence stretch for a beat too long. Then, you could have done it in the morning. I couldn't sleep. Another silence. Then Colby turned. His eyes locked onto Jayden like a sniper taking aim, focused, unreadable, and just a little too long. Jayden shifted his weight. Do you need me to leave? No, Colby said, voice lower than usual. Sit. Let me see it. Jayden walked to his desk and opened the file. He handed over a hard copy without speaking, then sat down quietly, hands in his lap. Trying not to fidget. Trying not to look at how Colby's sleeves hugged his forearms, how the vein in his wrist pulsed as he flipped through each page. Colby's jaw worked in quiet tension. His eyes scanned, page after page, faster now. Until finally, he stopped. He looked up. This is excellent. Jayden blinked. It was the first compliment Colby had given him since he joined the company. Thank you, he said, barely audible. Colby set the pages down, knuckles brushing the edge of Jayden's desk. I was too hard on you earlier. Jayden lifted his eyes slowly. You always are. Something shifted in Colby's face. A crack in the armor. Not regret, not exactly, something messier. I don't know how to be around you, Colby said, almost like it slipped out. Jayden stared. What? Colby looked away. Ran a hand through his hair like he hated himself for saying it. Jayden stood. The air between them was thick, heavy. Why do you hate me? Colby didn't answer. Jayden stepped closer. You say I'm not good enough, but I am. You tell me my work is flawed, but it's not. I've done nothing to you, and you treat me like I'm some threat. You are. Jayden's breath caught. What? You are a fucking threat, Colby growled, stepping closer. His voice was low and harsh. Every time you walk in, you make me forget how to think. Every time you smile at someone, I want to break something. And I hate it, Jayden. I hate it because I can't fucking stop wanting you. Jayden's pulse roared in his ears. Colby's chest was rising, fast and hard. His eyes were wild. blue, cold, and furious, but under that, something burned. Jayden reached out, he didn't know why, maybe to touch, maybe to stop him, but Colby stepped back. "Don't," he said, voice shaking. "I wasn't going to." "Yes, you were." Jayden's hand dropped. Colby's fists clenched. "You make me want things I'm not supposed to want." Jayden whispered, "Like what?" The silence that followed was brutal. Hot. Electric. Colby turned, grabbing his jacket, breathing hard. "I'm leaving." Jayden didn't stop him. The door slammed behind Colby so loud it echoed through the empty floor. Jayden stood alone in the soft glow of his desk lamp, his skin still tingling, heart pounding in his throat. He had never been more confused. Or more certain. Colby Drayke wanted him. And it was tearing him apart. Chapter 4, The Goodbye Letter. Jayden didn't sleep that night. He didn't even try. He stared at the ceiling for hours, replaying Colby's words in his head like a cruel kind of lullaby. "You make me want things I'm not supposed to want." What did that even mean? Was it guilt? Shame? Or something deeper and rawer, something Jayden couldn't name because if he did, he'd hope. And hoping for Colby Drayke felt like throwing yourself off a rooftop and pretending the fall didn't hurt. By 5 a.m., Jayden had his resignation letter typed, printed, and folded in half inside a plain white envelope. His hands were steady, too steady, as if his body already knew this was the only way to survive. By 8:12 a.m., Colby walked into his office and saw the envelope on his desk. His name. In Jayden's handwriting. He stared at it like it was a bomb. He didn't open it right away. He couldn't. His gut twisted into something tight and mean. He sat down, picked up the envelope, and pressed his thumbs into the crease. He already knew. Jayden had quit. The bastard had walked away. Colby ripped it open and scanned the short, polite message. "Dear Mr. Drayke. Thank you for the opportunity to work under your direction. I've learned a lot and appreciate the experience, but I believe it's time for me to explore new opportunities that better align with my goals. My last day will be 2 weeks from today. I'll ensure a smooth transition. Sincerely. Jayden Cole." No emotion. No anger. Just cool, professional detachment. Colby stood so fast his chair crashed back against the wall. He stormed down the hallway, ignoring greetings, eyes locked on one thing, Jayden. He spotted him near the copy machine, head bowed, quietly punching buttons like the building wasn't on fire. Colby stopped a few feet away. "Really?" Jayden didn't turn around. "You read it? You're quitting." Jayden finally looked at him. There was no sadness today. Just exhaustion. "I can't stay here, Colby." "You're running." "I'm surviving," Jayden said flatly. "There's a difference." Colby stepped closer, low voice dark with frustration. "Why now?" Jayden let out a humorless laugh. "You told me I was a threat. You looked me in the eyes and said you hated wanting me." He swallowed hard. "I'm not staying where I'm punished just for existing." Colby's hands curled into fists. "I never meant." "Yes, you did." Jayden's voice cracked. "And I'm done pretending it doesn't wreck me." The silence that followed was brutal. Colby's chest heaved. He wanted to say something, anything, but the words clotted in his throat. "Sorry" felt too small. "Don't go" felt too raw. "I want you" felt too dangerous. Jayden shook his head. "I'll finish the projects I started. You don't have to say anything." Then he turned and walked away. And Colby stood there, furious, helpless, hard. He'd broken something he didn't know how to fix. And for the first time in years, he wasn't sure power, position, or pride meant a damn thing. Because the only thing he wanted was already slipping through his fingers. Chapter 5, The Fire Beneath the Skin. Jayden didn't expect much from his last 2 weeks. He showed up. Did his work. Smiled politely when people asked why he was leaving. He gave no drama, no story. Just the kind of quiet exit that wouldn't make waves. But people noticed. Especially Colby. He watched Jayden from his office like a man watching the last train leave the station. Not chasing it. Just standing there, fists clenched in his pockets, jaw locked tight. Like he couldn't figure out if he wanted to stop him or shove him out faster. He'd barely said a word to Jayden all week. Until Friday night. Jayden had stayed late, as usual, tying up the last loose ends on the Collins account. A client he'd personally charmed into renewing a 6-month retainer. One of the few things he was proud of. Around 8:30, he leaned back in his chair, yawned, and stretched the tension out of his arms. Then a knock. Soft. Hesitant. He turned. And there was Colby. Still in his suit. Still infuriatingly handsome, though he looked tired in a way Jayden hadn't seen before. The kind of tired that settled behind the eyes and didn't come from lack of sleep. Jayden's breath caught, but he didn't let it show. "I thought you'd left," he said. "I went to the bar downstairs," Colby replied. "I saw you from the window." "Still here?" Jayden stood. "Well, I'm finishing up now." "I saw you last night." Jayden blinked. "What?" Colby stepped inside and shut the door behind him. "At Mason's." Jayden's stomach dropped. "You were there?" "I was meeting a friend. Walked in, saw you laughing with that guy at the bar. Tall, dark jacket. Hands all over you." Jayden's cheeks flushed hot. "He's just a friend." "Didn't look like it." Jayden's jaw tightened. "Why do you care?" Colby didn't answer. His body was tense, lips parted like he was about to say something reckless. Jayden moved to grab his bag, trying to steady his voice. "You made it clear what I am to you. A threat. A problem. Something to get rid of. So don't stand here and act jealous just because someone else actually wants me. You think I don't want you?" Colby snapped, stepping forward. Jayden froze. Colby's voice dropped to a rough whisper. "You think I haven't been wanting you since the first fucking day you walked in wearing that blue button-down and soft smile like it didn't fucking ruin me?" Jayden's bag slipped from his hand. "I hate the way I want you," Colby said, breathing hard now, like he was trying not to explode. "I hate that every time I see you talk to someone else, I want to drag you away. I hate that I dream about you and wake up hard and angry and ashamed." Jayden took a shaky step back. "Then why didn't you just say something instead of tearing me apart?" "Because I didn't know how to want you without losing control." Silence. Thick. Charged. Then Colby moved. Fast. His hand caught Jayden's wrist, gently but firm enough that Jayden felt the weight of it everywhere. Their bodies were inches apart. Breath, heat, tension. "I can't lose you," Colby whispered. "Even if I don't deserve to keep you." Jayden's breath hitched. He looked up into those ocean blue eyes, furious and vulnerable, full of something too raw to name. "You don't get to say that now," Jayden whispered back. "Not unless you mean it." Colby's hand slid to his jaw. Fingers trembling. "I mean it," he said. "I mean it so much it hurts." Jayden leaned in before he could stop himself. Their mouths met, hungry, hot, desperate. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't slow. It was weeks of tension, months of denial, poured into a kiss that felt like it could burn the whole building down. Colby's mouth was firm, biting, claiming. Jayden melted into it, grabbed onto his shirt, clung like he'd been drowning, and Colby was the first gasp of air. Then Colby pulled back, forehead resting against Jayden's. "You're still leaving?" he asked, breathless. Jayden nodded. "You still have a lot to fix." Colby swallowed. "Then let me fix it." And for the first time, Jayden didn't walk away. Chapter 6, just this once. The city outside never slept. But in Colby's penthouse, everything was still, except them. Jayden didn't remember the drive. Just the sound of Colby's voice, low and tight as he said, "Come with me." Just the way Colby's hand gripped the back of his neck in the elevator like he couldn't decide if he wanted to kiss him again or fall apart. When they got inside, Colby dropped his keys and turned to face him like he was already confessing too much. Jayden didn't give him the chance to speak. He kissed him. Hard. Deep. Needy. Colby groaned into his mouth, then shoved him gently but firmly against the wall, his thighs slipping between Jayden's, his hands flat against his chest, holding him there. Jayden's head tipped back, lips parted as Colby kissed down his throat, sucking, biting, tasting. "God, I've wanted this," Colby murmured, voice almost hoarse. "You have no idea how much I've wanted you." Jayden's laugh was bitter and breathless. "You had a fucked up way of showing it." Colby looked at him, eyes dark, jaw flexing. "I didn't know how to want someone I couldn't control." Jayden pulled him closer. "Then don't control me. Just take me." That was all it took. Clothes came off like they were on fire. Buttons popped. Zippers ripped. Jayden's shirt got tossed somewhere across the kitchen. Colby's pants barely made it to the bedroom. Their mouths never stopped, hot, wet, gasping against each other as if this was the only language they knew. Colby's body was strong, precise, and hungry. Every touch was deliberate. Every breath against Jayden's skin was need. He kissed Jayden's collarbone like it was something holy. Bit down on his hip like he wanted to leave a mark. When Jayden moaned and arched beneath him, Colby gripped his thighs and held him there like a man starved. It wasn't soft. It wasn't sweet. It was heat and teeth and sweat, Jayden crying out, Colby groaning his name into his skin. And when Jayden came, shaking, gripping Colby's wrist, the man didn't stop, just slowed down, mouth hot on Jayden's chest, whispering words that didn't make sense but still made Jayden's heart clench. And afterward, when they lay there, naked, tangled, breathless, Jayden turned his head on the pillow and whispered, "This doesn't change anything." Colby was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. "I know," he said. "But I'm going to try to." Monday morning. Jayden walked into the office with the weight of the weekend still on his skin. He hadn't seen Colby since he'd slipped out of the penthouse early Sunday, dressed in silence, lips still sore, chest still aching. He needed space. And time. He didn't expect flowers on his desk. Or some grand apology. But he also didn't expect the boardroom to be filled with half the firm and Colby pacing like a caged animal, running a hand through his hair while senior execs exchanged looks. Jayden stood in the doorway, frozen. Until his friend Michael whispered, "Something's going on. They're doing an internal audit. Someone leaked the Bellamy pitch to a competitor." Jayden's heart sank. That was his account. Colby looked up. Their eyes met. Jayden's blood turned cold. Because in that single glance, Colby didn't look like the man who kissed him and held him close just 2 nights ago. He looked like the boss. And Jayden knew something was about to crash, and it had his name on it. Chapter 7, Burn the Evidence. Jayden's heart pounded like it wanted out of his chest. He walked into the conference room with a calm he didn't feel, eyes scanning every executive in the room. Everyone fell quiet. Colby didn't look at him. He stood at the head of the table, hands gripping the edge like it was the only thing holding him up. His voice, when it came, was razor sharp. "Everyone involved with the Bellamy account will be interviewed one-on-one. Until we find who leaked it, all external communications are locked down." Jayden opened his mouth. "Colby." "Mr. Drayke," he corrected, eyes still cold. "This isn't the time." That hit like a slap. Jayden's jaw tightened, but he nodded and sat down. The next hour dragged like torture. One by one, team members were pulled into the smaller office down the hall. Jayden sat, still and silent, but his fingers trembled in his lap. He knew what it looked like. He was leaving the company. He had full access to the Bellamy files. He'd just helped land the biggest client of the quarter. Now the pitch was in someone else's hands. It looked like revenge. It wasn't. But facts never mattered more than timing. By the time they called his name, Jayden's face felt numb. He stepped into the office and found Colby already waiting, alone. Door closed. Jayden stood. "You're not handing this to HR?" Colby didn't answer. He just stared at him like he'd been staring at a storm for too long and didn't know whether to run or stand in the rain. "You think I leaked the pitch?" Jayden asked, voice low, tired. "No," Colby said immediately. "But they do." Jayden scoffed. "Let me guess. Convenient scapegoat. You're resigning. You had access. You were at the final pitch meeting. The leak matches your timestamp login." Jayden blinked. "I didn't." "I know you didn't." Colby's voice cracked. "But they need someone." Something inside Jayden splintered. "And what? You're going to let them pin this on me to save your own ass?" Colby looked away. Jayden stepped closer, anger seething under his skin. "You used me. You hated me, broke me down, and the second I gave you something real, you go silent. Now this? You stand there like it's out of your hands, when we both know this company does what you say." Colby looked up, blue eyes raw. "You don't understand. Then make me understand." Jayden's voice cracked. "If I walk out of here with this on my record, I'm done. No agency will touch me. You know that." Colby breathed hard through his nose. His jaw clenched. Then, suddenly, he moved. Went to the desk. Pulled out a folder. "I found the actual source," he said. "It was Steven from Business Development. He sold the pitch to Westward Media for 20 grand. But he's the son of a partner. You take the fall, they stay quiet, no scandal." Jayden stared at him, disbelief turning to rage. "You were going to let them bury it." Colby stepped closer. "I didn't know what to do." Jayden shoved him. "You let me sit out there like a fucking target, while you held the proof the whole time?" Colby caught his wrist. His voice broke. "I didn't want to lose everything." Jayden yanked away. "Then you shouldn't have touched me." Silence. Thick. Colby's chest rose and fell with panic, shame, need. "I'll go to the board," he finally said. "I'll give them the folder. I'll protect you." Jayden shook his head. "Too late." "No. It's not." Colby moved again, fast this time. Hands cupping Jayden's face, holding him still. "I was scared of wanting you," he said. "I'm not scared anymore." Jayden swallowed. His voice was barely a whisper. "Do the right thing. Not for me. For you." Colby nodded, eyes fierce. Then he turned, opened the office door, and walked out, folder in hand, reputation on the line. And for the first time in months, Jayden let himself breathe. Chapter 8, After the Storm. The board meeting lasted 4 hours. Jayden wasn't invited. He wasn't even supposed to know it was happening. But he waited, alone in the office kitchen, cold coffee in hand, one foot tapping against the tile like a ticking clock. Every time a door opened, he flinched. Every time someone passed, they avoided his eyes. It felt like limbo. And then Colby emerged. His tie was loose. His hair was a mess. His jaw looked tight enough to crack. But when he saw Jayden, something in his shoulders eased. "It's over," he said. "You're cleared. Officially." Jayden stared at him, searching for the catch. "They're blaming Steven?" he asked. Colby nodded. "He's been suspended indefinitely. His father isn't happy, but he agreed to keep it quiet in exchange for a discreet exit." Jayden exhaled, long and slow. "And you?" "I gave them my resignation." Jayden blinked. "You what?" "I lied to protect the company. I hesitated when it counted. I fucked up. If I'd turned in that folder the second I found it, you wouldn't have spent 2 days wondering if your career was over." Jayden set the mug down hard enough to clatter. "Why now? Why do the right thing when it's already ruined?" Colby stepped closer. "Because it's not ruined. Not yet. Not if I can still fix some of it. Jayden looked at him. Really looked. Colby was unraveling, eyes red, hands unsteady, but there was something in his face Jayden hadn't seen before. Not hate. Not shame. Just honesty. You still have your job, Colby said softly. I made sure of it. The board agreed. You're safe. Jayden crossed his arms. And what? You think that fixes everything between us? No, Colby said. But I had to start somewhere. Jayden studied him, lips pressed together, head tilting slightly. You hurt me. I know. You fucked me like I mattered. Then let me rot while the floor cracked under my feet. Colby swallowed. I know. Jayden stepped closer. Close enough to smell the expensive cologne on Colby's skin, still sharp and warm under the sweat and nerves. I don't know if I can forgive you, he whispered. Colby didn't flinch. You don't have to. Jayden leaned in just a little more, voice low and dangerous. But you want me, still. Colby's voice was like gravel. Every fucking minute. Jayden's lips brushed Colby's ear. Then show me. Colby grabbed him like he'd been waiting to break. Their mouths crashed together, less polished now, less calculated. Just raw, aching, hungry. Jayden pushed him back into the kitchen wall, fingers in his hair, teeth scraping Colby's bottom lip. Colby groaned into his mouth, hands gripping his hips hard enough to bruise. They didn't care who might walk in. Didn't care about timing, consequences, the tension humming in the air around them. This was two men who'd burned each other, and still wanted the heat. Jayden broke the kiss first, lips slick, breath ragged. I don't forgive you, he said. Colby nodded. I'll earn it. Jayden smirked. Damn right, you will. Then he walked out, no apology, no glance back. And Colby stood there, wrecked and wanting, knowing for the first time exactly what he'd almost lost. Chapter 9, Earn Me. 2 weeks passed. Jayden still showed up at the office, different desk, different project, same damn ache every time he caught a glimpse of Colby across the hall. But Colby was no longer the director. He moved quietly now, tucked into a consulting role while transition papers cleared. He answered questions when asked. Stayed out of meetings. Avoided Jayden, mostly. Except when their eyes met. And stayed. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't polite. It was the kind of stare that said, I still remember how you tasted when you cried out my name. Jayden hated how fast his body remembered, too. Still, he didn't give in. He made Colby work for it. Every coffee break where Colby waited near the elevator, not saying a word. Every hallway pass where his hand brushed Jayden's arm, accidentally. Every email with a clean subject line and a note that read, dinner. Tonight. Just talk. Please. Jayden didn't reply. He wasn't interested in apologies over appetizers. But he wasn't immune either. So when Friday came and Jayden found a handwritten note on his keyboard, one last try. Rooftop. 8 p.m., if you don't come, I'll stop, he showed up. Of course he did. It was drizzling. Just enough to wet his hair, not enough to matter. Colby stood by the edge of the rooftop garden, holding 2 glasses and a bottle of whiskey. Jayden crossed his arms. Rooftop seduction? Very cliché. Colby didn't smile. It's not seduction. It's surrender. Jayden walked slowly toward him, eyes locked on his. What does that even mean? It means I've stopped pretending I know what I'm doing, Colby said, voice low. I spent years climbing the ladder, being the sharpest bastard in the room. I never learned how to say I'm sorry and mean it. Jayden took the glass. Colby continued. I don't want to win. I just want you to see me. Jayden drank. The burn was welcome. Clean. Honest. He stepped close enough that their shoulders touched. What if I don't like what I see? Colby looked at him, really looked. Then I'll walk away. I'll leave you alone. But if you see even a flicker of what I felt every time I looked at you, then stay. Jayden set the glass down. You broke me, Colby. I know. I let you touch me like I trusted you. I didn't deserve it. Jayden's voice dropped. You still want me? Colby didn't blink. Yes. Jayden's fingers caught the front of Colby's coat. He tugged him in, slow. Then show me how you'd touch me now. Colby didn't move at first. He just stared, like he didn't trust this moment. Then he kissed him. It was nothing like before. No dominance. No rush. Just lips pressing open with reverence, hands sliding over Jayden's hips with careful hunger. It was slow, desperate in a different way, a man learning what it meant to mean something. Jayden moaned into his mouth, arching. But when Colby's fingers slid under his shirt, Jayden grabbed his wrist. Not here, he whispered. Not yet. Colby nodded. Tell me when. Jayden stepped back. You'll wait? Colby's answer was instant. I'd wait forever. Jayden smirked. Don't make me test that. Chapter 10, Burn the Map. Jayden didn't say a word as he unlocked the door to his apartment. He walked in first, slow, shoulders tight, leaving a trail of wet footprints on the hardwood. Colby followed, quiet, fingers twitching at his sides like he didn't know where to put them. Jayden turned. I don't know what the hell we are, he said. Colby's voice was rough. Neither do I. But I want you, Jayden continued. Not as a mistake. Not as a secret. Just you. Colby looked at him like he wanted to fall to his knees. Then take me. Jayden didn't hesitate. He shoved Colby against the door, kissed him deep, tongue slick and searching, hands in his hair, tugging until Colby groaned. Colby gripped his hips, grounding them both as Jayden bit his lip, sucked it raw. No games, Jayden breathed against his mouth. No power trips. Just you. Just me. Yes, Colby whispered. Fuck, yes. Clothes hit the floor in a trail of haste and hunger. Shirt. Belt. Jacket. The sound of zippers made the silence between them deeper, heavier. Jayden pushed Colby onto the bed. Colby let him. And for the first time, there was no fight for control. Just heat. Just mouths and breath and skin slick with want. Jayden straddled him, kissed down his throat, marked him with his teeth. I used to hate you, Jayden murmured against Colby's chest. Every time you looked at me, I felt naked. You were perfect, Colby said, gasping as Jayden's tongue slid lower. And I hated that I couldn't break you. Jayden looked up. You did. You broke me. Colby reached for him, gentle, pulling him back up, kissing him softer now. Then let me put you back together. They moved like they were trying to memorize each other, slow, needy, aching. Jayden guided Colby inside him, eyes locked the entire time, no barrier, no protection, just raw skin and open hearts. They fucked like they had something to prove. Like they wanted to erase every wrong thing said in the office, every angry email, every slammed door. Jayden rode him hard, hands splayed across Colby's chest, sweat glistening on their skin. Colby's hands held his thighs, jaw clenched tight as Jayden moaned above him. I hated you, Jayden panted. I know. I still think about you in the elevator. At your desk. In the boardroom. Same, Colby growled. You wrecked me. Jayden's fingers tangled in Colby's hair. Then stay ruined. Stay mine. I'm not going anywhere. Their rhythm broke, bodies trembling, gasps turning into cries. Jayden came first, head thrown back, spine arching. Colby followed seconds after, thrusting deep and shaking apart beneath him. After, they didn't speak for a while. Jayden curled into Colby's side. Colby held him like he was something sacred. Eventually, Jayden murmured, "You're still an asshole." Colby laughed against his neck. "I'm your asshole now." Jayden smirked. "Don't get comfortable. I'm not promising a fairy tale. Good, Colby said, eyes closing. I just want real. Jayden sighed, warm and low. Then burn the map, Colby. We'll figure it out. Colby's grip tightened. I'm not letting go again. And for the first time since they met, between the power plays, the broken glass, and all the fire, they both believed it. 6 months later, the boardroom didn't feel like a battlefield anymore. Jayden sat at the far end of the long glass table, laptop open, sleeves rolled. He wore confidence now, not arrogance, not armor. Just a quiet surety in how he spoke, how people listened. He belonged here. Even Colby said so. Especially Colby. He leaned in the doorway now, arms crossed, suit wrinkled, hair messy. He looked nothing like the sharp-edged director who used to own this place. He looked better. He looked like someone in love. Are you done playing king of the pitch deck? Colby asked, eyebrow raised. Jayden didn't even glance up. Are you done loitering in doorways like a creep? Colby grinned. Charming. Let's go. Our reservation's in 20. Jayden closed his laptop. Where are we going? Surprise. Jayden gave him that look, part suspicion, part amusement. If this is another overpriced sushi place where the portions are made for toddlers, I'm breaking up with you. Colby stepped closer, lips brushing Jayden's ear. What if I told you it's a hotel room with a private rooftop tub and room service that doesn't judge? Jayden stood. Now that's a date. They walked through the office side by side. No hiding. No guilt. No one whispered anymore. Nobody dared. Everyone had seen the shift, how Colby softened around Jayden, how Jayden burned a little brighter when Colby was near. They made each other better. And worse. And more honest. In the elevator, Colby reached for Jayden's hand. Do you ever miss the tension? Jayden looked at him. What tension? You know. The way I used to glare at you like I wanted to devour you. Jayden leaned in close, breath hot against his cheek. You still do. Colby smirked. And you still like it. Jayden squeezed his hand. Not as much as I like this. They stepped out together, no rush, no secrets, just the steady rhythm of two men learning how to love after breaking each other first. Whatever came next, they'd figure it out. Together.